It's November 6th, 2021 now. I just turned on the television to see what the morning news was. It's a Saturday. And Linda had on a station, one of the drama stations, DRAMA. It's like, it's a, I guess drama could kind of be a training simulation in like a quantum mirror, but not to be taken too seriously, although some of the humans live in these things. And on pops a movie from 2004, a year after Daniel was born, the year between Daniel and Alexander, and it's called The Day After Tomorrow. I don't think I've seen it. Again, it's hard to remember. I don't really sit and whatever. So now in this thing, it says that, like, if I'm trying to schematic my wall, where I'm in this hole of non-understanding of these professions and industry, because they were never made available for me as careers, there's a section that answers a red telephone and looks at some TV screens. Then there's the outside trauma, TRAMA unit, where the weather pattern's actually affecting the people. And then there's like a separate and these are like parallel dimension slices, all happening at the same time. Then there's one where there's like a bunch of guys from the golf course, it looks like. They call them, though, the president. He doesn't even seem to be having any weather affected at all. He's not in the trauma section. And then it goes to some almost like college theater, but it looks like a planetarium kind of sort of that I've been to once in Center Reach. So it's a little confusing. It's got like a dark dome, but anyway. And then that section of parallel dimension, they're a bunch of, I guess they're scientists. What kind of scientists? I don't know. Has a sign, I think, NOSAA or OSA. I don't know. I have to read the sign again because I've never even heard of this thing. Again, these are not, I know that when you live in the parallel dimension and it's your field, it's your whole world. And it's like unheard of that nobody's ever heard of it before. Well, here's the truth. In the real trauma ward, we have never heard of you. And if the schools bringing up the children and the community does not know of or about these things and communicate it with the residents, there's no way to know. So now I've got big science problems going on, biologically tuned in. I communicate it as black holes with a fettered chain, and then the magnets being pulled off, which is pulling off the biology and the gravity and causing all sorts of dysfunction of my human anatomy, and they're not wounds or trauma that the local, what calls itself a doctor in a hospital, is prepared for. But now my question is, in this theatrical delight called a Day After Tomorrow, the weather pattern is so severe. It's like several hurricanes at the same time converging on the same city, being Los Angeles or LA. Like, is that what everybody's waiting for? I'm just curious, because I don't know that that scene is going to happen. And if that scene does happen and it's marked on somebody else's, like, notepad as too late, why are the humans gunning for headed in that direction? Why don't they ever fix things when there's a warning phase? Why do they have to actually push to, like, beyond repair before they actually do anything useful? It's just a question. I mean, again, I'm so removed from the humanity. They've just left me in isolation, and there's been no societal anything that's been established in this area. I hear that societal, like, strongholds exist. I've seen them on TV. They've been telling a vision, not only in drama club, but in, like, in Hollywood, but also, and I don't even know if their societies are what they play on TV, but on the local area, the trauma workers sometimes get on television camera and explain their level of trauma that they work, being fire or police or whatever. But there's no real environment. There's a weather guy, but he's like Sam Champion and I forget the other guy's name. And they're like golf course presidential guys that come out just for like the day to like point at a blue or green screen in front of them about temperature. I mean, it's not like they're really teaching us about what's going on in the climate that we should. It's not like a task list of here's what you should be aware of, or like keep an eye out, kiddo. Right? Yeah, it doesn't happen that way.
Stay away from these. Don't worry. You're on TV right in the middle of it.
Now, is this what everybody's waiting for before they react? I don't know.
Oh my God, I hope no one was in that car.
For our national audience just joining us now, we are going live to downtown Los Angeles right now. Tommy?
If you look over there behind me, that's a tornado.
So his parallel, he's in trauma at the moment. His parallel dimension is a quantum mirror that someone else is watching because he's reporting it with the microphone and the newscasts are recording him. So this is just one slice of quantum mirror where something's going on, and then there's a reactionary parallel dimension at the exact same time if this is what's considered live. And those kids are kind of like, they have no idea how to react to this level of trauma going on at the same time because they're not living in this kind of trauma yet. It hasn't hit their reality yet. This is about the level I'm in now. Last night, or this morning, I was sleeping and I hear this beeping. Beep, beep, beep. And then I'm laying there and I make a note. I'm like, unbeknownst alarm sound going off. Oh, wait. Then it goes beep, beep. So finally I get up. I go into the kitchen and the stove, somehow somebody set a time, the timer alarm on the stove, and the stove alarm timer was going off. So I had to shut the timer off, which is odd because Linda's sleeping, I'm sleeping, Tia Frio is in this room sleeping. I've got the little one with me, nobody's touching the stove, but yet the alarm goes off. This is the level of trauma I'm going through with weird, anomalous electrical disparities, floors cracking, bones cracking, and like the swaying of the streets are pulling apart by photon light. Now, nobody to ask that question to that can answer it, so I'm kind of painting my own very vivid picture. From trauma, less the drama. This is what I call drama club, dramatization. This is me having no patience for these movies. Right. Oh, and on that, like that nice like eerie music that goes on, I have a different. Linda bought a baked potato the other day. It came inside of a plastic container, like a, almost like a wrapped saran wrap around it, really tight to the baked potato, but with 2 holes in it. And she put it inside the microwave. Now this is what the microwave looks like, for anybody that doesn't have one. She put the microwave on cook inside here. She placed it here and she put it on. And all of a sudden I walk into the kitchen and it's whistling. It was so annoying. And it was for like the longest amount of time. It wouldn't stop. I'm big on like sound. But I'm wondering because and this is what a baked potato looks like, but it had plastic around it instead of metal. I'm wondering now because there is this like, when you have molecules or ions that have friction, they cause sound, they start to whistle, and there is like a background, a hind audio like vibration in this area. It's been for some time. And my parents always say, like, when I was little, I used to speak louder than them, and I don't know why. I think it has something to do with that in the echo and audio chamber. It's all the background noise.
Yes, I'm looking at it right now.
Now, this is a different quantum mirror, a parallel dimension.
Mr. President, Los Angeles has been devastated by a series of tornadoes. On top of that, the FAA wants your approval to suspend all air traffic. What do you think we should do? Until we can figure out what's going on here, I don't think we have much choice, sir.
What you're seeing is what's left of downtown Los Angeles.
Hey man, I just got off the phone with my mom.
Here's a different quantum mirror. This is them watching it going on at a non-presidential level.
Unfortunately, the order came too late for 2 planes that were brought down by severe turbulence in the Midwest. The first one.
So much for 1 in a billion. All right, listen up, everybody. Listen.
Now, this is interesting because I have no idea what this is. I don't even know, how do these people find these careers? Like, whose parents knew that these things existed before this movie came about in order to say, hey, son, or hey, daughter, like, I think that you'd be a really good fit in, like, something that looks like this because you like science and noticing things. I mean, like, my parents didn't know to do that. They didn't even know an area like this somewhere in parallel dimension, but at the same time frame existed, and that it was a career field that might, I mean, like, again, in this Bayside station, Bayside, New York, growing up here and then being put out to Long Island, like out to pasture, there has been no career development, there's been no industry picture, there's been nothing.
Listen up, please. We've got a lot of work to do, and we don't have much time, so let's get started, please. Borstein.
All our grid models are worthless.
I don't think grid models are going to be a lot of help here. The Canadians are reporting tremendous.
Nobody in my area of never got to this level and didn't have parents that know even what to call this industry. Nobody knows what a grid model is. I can theoretically like think it's a grid, like a gingham, but and like a topography. There's got to be some kind of whatever, but I have no idea what your words mean. I'm just studying this from afar, from like a foreign body ear, even though it speaks English and I speak English.
Tremendous circulation moving down from the Arctic. In Siberia, there's a low-pressure system unlike anything we've seen, and Australia just saw the strongest typhoon ever recorded.
Hang on, are you saying that these things...
And these low and high pressure systems, I get vortices and barometric change in pressure. I can conceptually abstract, but nobody knows what it really means in like if they don't work in this industry.
things are interconnected?
We have to consider the possibility.
The only force strong enough to affect global weather is the sun.
What's NASA have to say?
Oh,
We've
there it
already
is.
checked the
NOAA.
sun.
No idea what it stands for.
What about the North Atlantic Current?
What about it?
I got a call last night from Professor Rapson at the Headland Center. He thinks the current has changed.
Come on, Jack, how could that be?
The current depends upon a delicate balance of salt and fresh water.
We all know that.
Yes, but no one has taken into account how much fresh water has been dumped into the ocean because of melting polar ice. I think we've hit a critical desalinization point.
It would explain what's driving this extreme weather.
Headland had some pretty convincing data. They've asked me to feed it into my paleoclimate model to track the next set of events.
Hold on, Jack. Are you suggesting these weather anomalies are going to continue?
A paleoclimate model. No idea who this guy is in relation to the room he's standing in. No idea what an NOAA was. Nobody ever explained it. And no idea why he's got a paleo model and how that's different from a grid. They don't explain that on this television. These are Hollywood actors that have directors that already know stuff at like presidential golf club area that feed them information that then brings this out. But the real trauma ward that is getting hurt has no clue what even this level of